What's up guys, back in today with another reaction on the channel. Today I'll be reacting to the 100 meter, I think it's just called 100 meters movie, which I've been very excited for. This is from the author of Orb on the Movements of the Earth, which I don't want to spoil, but I put very high on my tier list that I've pre-recorded, but I have waited just to edit in a couple of extra bits, this being one of them, to add to the list. So I'm very excited to see where that goes, and I'm hoping it goes up high because I've had very good things about this. Again, being from the author of one of my favorite anime of the last year, should love it. It's one that should speak to me, as well as I've mentioned quite a few times in my one dance reactions over this last season. I was always the sprinter. I've always been quite bad at like long distance stuff, and I was always like sports day the person that sprinted first for like the team, and I'd do the 100 meter, 200 meter hurdles, even though I never done hurdles in my life, and I do like all the quick stuff. So a lot of the stuff covered here probably should speak to me quite a bit. Ironically enough, I did all my settings are kind of already sorted out for this video because I just finished watching My Neighbor Totoro earlier today, which I was expecting this to come out tomorrow, but it's out quite early. And then I've literally just been for a late night run, but more so uphill sprints, which I've been doing lately. Just because, yeah, I didn't think I'd be watching another movie today, so yeah, apologies, you might seem a bit flushed or something. But this has certainly been one of my most anticipated things to watch coming out, just because, again, just how good Orb on the Movements of the Earth was. If you guys haven't watched that, definitely check out. I imagine you guys would have. As soon as this was like hinted at releasing and such, I was like, yeah, I'm there day one. But yeah, I was quite good at this stuff. I did break a couple records for my school on sports days, which is nice. Pretty much the only good things I did do. um, but yeah, it's nice to be like relied on. Funny because I was never really good at it. I think it's probably because I just didn't care. I was always like a bit of a bug boy. And then I remember in primary school, I think it was the second to last year, I randomly just got put in the 100 meter race, and I came second. I was like, oh, you know what, I'm pretty good at this, especially considering I've never done anything like that. This guy just absolutely smoked everyone else there. Don't get me wrong, I'm expecting quite a bit of racing in this, but I'm expecting this to be a big character piece, to be honest. I said this at the intro, like One Dance I really liked because it's got a lot of psychological aspects to it. People don't understand just how psychological sport is in general. You can be the best at anything. If your psychology's wrong, if you haven't got the right mindset, you're never going to win. If you think you're the finished article at age, what, 10? Yeah, then you're never going to make it. A very similar thing happened to me. I thought I couldn't get any better at football at age like 15, and how wrong I was, because from then on I was just playing terribly for like a year or two. Yeah, fair to say I'm a bit fatigued. As I said, I've been lately doing uphill sprints. They've been quite demanding. Transfer student. I feel like this teacher with just like a few subtle changes could look like a delinquent, like a gang member. I will say what I said earlier about me being quite fast. I always had quite a bad technique, especially starting out there. My technique was really dodgy. I mean, it's in the nature of it. Being such a short distance, 100 meters, being such a short amount of time, really is like the smallest details that can break a world record, for example, or not. He's quite slow. Okay. I was kind of expecting him to be pretty good, but his form was pretty bad in what we saw earlier. Okay. So I think this is. I think I get the gist of this now. I think this is going to be a kind of talent versus hard work type of thing. Natural talent versus like genius, um, versus hard work and commitment maybe. And I said this a minute ago, but hard work and commitment will always win out over talent if you haven't got the right mindset. Oh, that scene there also kind of reminded me a bit of Mob Psycho. I was thinking that actually before I started watching this. Some of the character designs are slightly similar. Why is he always running? He's running everywhere. Also, am I being crazy here? Is that Freeren's voice actor voicing this guy? I think it is. Because it gets blurred. Yes. Yes. One of the best things is your pure focus for that time. Nothing else on your mind. I mean, it depends. It's a matter of perspective, isn't it? Really. I feel like these two are going to learn a lot from each other. Oh, definitely. I don't want to. This is going to sound maybe big-headed of me. Hope you don't take it that way. But my leg muscles are almost. This it's a blessing and a curse for me because I'm very fast. I'm very agile. I'm good over a short distance. But because my leg muscles are quite big and are attributed towards that, it makes me quite bad at long distance, like the lactic acid and such. That build just. I haven't got the build for short distance. You usually see it with marathon runners. They're usually quite skinny, and the build that like you see sprinters like Usain Bolt. Not to compare me to Usain Bolt, but they're usually quite bulky. Not that big, but like they're very muscular. They've got yeah. Just compare photos of sprinters to long distance runners, and I'm more akin to the sprinters. And again, it's helpful, but it like me, what I do when I play football is, like, I think it is preferable to be good at long distance rather than better over a short distance, but I've always been quite jealous of other people that have like really good stamina. Maybe other people are jealous of speed. I don't know, but I feel like we're going to see a lot of learning from these two, especially on behalf of the new boy. I feel like once his techniques kind of gets, I feel like the other guy here is probably going to help him with his technique. Maybe keep more aerodynamic, make the movements less. He moves around a lot. He does a lot of like, he's using too much of his body. If that makes like, that's saying it wrong. He's not using too much of his body, but he's doing too many excessive movements and using up too much energy in those movements. I think that's we're gonna see a real difference from the start of this movie to the end with this dude and his technique. But I said earlier, like the psychology of this stuff is the most interesting thing for me. I've been through it myself of like being really bad. I started football at like 11, 12 years old when everyone else was good. I was terrible. I improved over a very short period of time. Then I thought I was hot shit because I was doing really well, top goal scorer in the league and so on, and then moved to a better team. And then I was just terrible for a year or two. I thought I was too good. And then I took a break for like 4 or 5 years. Come back to it relatively recently. Big fitness curve getting back into it. Can't lie. I quit smoking to because that was like, well, yeah, I can barely do anything. So I quit smoking, and yeah, it's helped me out massively. Like even this, like he looks so much better already, doesn't he? He looks so much better already. I'd say I'm probably better than ever now at football, and that comes from a place of confidence, but warranted confidence. Like I know I'm not the best player on the team, but I know I'm good because my job is to get it to the best players on the team. I'm good at that. I've also done that. A couple of seasons ago, the bottom of my quite old boots, the glue stopped. Yeah, the glue came off, so I had to tape them up. It was not very comfy. Feel comfortable, yeah. Don't want to get a new pair of shoes. He probably can't afford them. But even if he did get a new pair of shoes, get loads of blisters and stuff. Oh man, I totally understand that as well. Like I said, I was never really too interested in stuff like this, but when you did see like other kids in that getting like gold medals and winning stuff, you do feel a bit jealous. And that's why I continued with like the no smoking, keeping up with my football stuff, because the first season I did come back, everybody in the team voted me as the player of the season, and I was just really overwhelmed by that, really appreciative of it. It's nice to know that your whole like peers think you've done a good job after quitting something I was done for 10 years. Such. Oh no, he can still win. He can still win. Get up, get up, get up. You can win. Yes, let's go, bro. That's the fucking mindset I'm talking about. Or beast. The hunger. Love that. I love like they're the best. Again, I'm going to relate this a lot to my football. They're the best type of teammates. They might not be the best players on the team, might not be the highest quality, but the people that work like that, you love having them with you. Good job, bro. I don't watch too much Olympics and stuff, but you never really see too many Japanese. I don't anyway. I don't really see too many like Japanese sprinters. It's usually like the Africans and then some Europeans and Americans. I can't say I've ever really seen too many Japanese kind of top level sprinters, but maybe that's just because I'm ignorant. They wouldn't risk that, would they? A race for nothing. Mister. Let's have a race. It's so intense. Like it's not. Sorry to pause already, but like it's so intense. The mindsets that like to reach the elite level. I always talk about this in regards to like sports psychology. I did study it to be fair in college. Um, the elite people, they probably. I mean, there's some really nice people at the top level of sports and such, but a lot of them are assholes. And you've got to be like this mindset here. What kind of mindset is this? These people are devoting their whole lives to a distance of 100 meters. Like logistically, when you think about that, it's insane to think about that these guys' whole life that they could reach depression, they could reach insane euphoria over logistically the distance of 100 meters and how fast they go over that time. And when you think of it in like the grand scheme of things, it's like you could say about a lot of things, doesn't really matter. But these people, I'm a little bit like this, especially with like games and stuff. I get like really, if especially if I'm vibing with it, I get kind of obsessive and want to be like the best I can be, and I want to take it to the absolute extreme. But what I found is I'm usually quite good at picking things up. I'm usually a really quick learner, and I usually get good at a lot of things. But I never get to that kind of elite extreme level at them. I can never kind of make that final step. Maybe it's because they have the motivation to. Maybe it's could be a whole host of things. But this mindset I always find very intriguing. I don't think I could ever dedicate like I wouldn't be able to look at it in such a kind of perspective of making that whole distance my life. I would ultimately sit back and think, wow, I've really just wasted 5 years of my life over the distance of 100 meters. But I guess that's what separates the elite and the winners from people like me. It's just like, yeah, the psychology of this stuff is incredible. Like this guy, like just how he's talking here, is so intense. It's like this 100 meters is his life. This is all he's worked towards, and it's 10 seconds, 11 seconds, probably closer to 10 for these guys. yeah, like 10 seconds of their life. Yeah, they train all year round. Injury could offset them for like years, just for over the like. Yeah, I just find this stuff incredibly interesting. So that was another one of the reasons I knew I'd love this, because again I studied it in college. I have a real interest in, again, especially the psychology of sports. I was really less interested in like the physical stuff, like the anatomy and stuff like that. I was much more interested in like, yeah, the psychological kind of theoretic aspect. But yeah, this is where the conversation gets interesting. Like even what he said about like once you win, not losing that you don't want to disappoint. And then like what happens when you retire? What happens to these people once they retire? What do they have left in life? And so on. Like, there's so many interesting questions around this. What if they're forced to retire? Yeah, this guy's gonna absolutely smoke him. I could already tell. He's gonna absolutely smoke him. He's not gonna go easy on him. 50? Oh. I thought he wanted 50 more of those. Race, just race. Come on. I kind of want him to race. Good. I like this is a good learning. Like this will take him down a peg. I think he doesn't need to be. He's not like cocky, but this is like a big thing. This might seem like he's bound to lose. Like this guy's older, just for fun. This is a big deal psychologically. This guy's not going to show him any mercy. Kind of surprising though that he would risk potential injury over racing some like 10-year-old. Oh, he's keeping up pretty well actually. Oh wow. Oh my god, I didn't expect that outcome. He got beat. He actually gave up as well, as the worst part. Why did he stop? Oh, well, that's not what I expected to happen there. Like I said, I thought he would go all out. Especially the way he was talking a minute ago. Did he realise he was going to lose and didn't want to embarrass himself? Did he not want to hurt the kid? Like, what was the motivation behind that choice? Yeah, it kind of seemed like he was. Like, let's just go through that again. He was going all out here, right? Like, look at his preparation and stuff. Like, maybe this is just for like the photos. Seems incredibly focused. Even using like a proper gun. Like the way he's like, yeah, he is going full force here, no? By full force. Yeah, he's got. It seems like he is, and yeah, maybe it's the case of I've done this. I've done this way. Like I think everybody has to not embarrass themselves, to pretend. Oh yeah, I'm just playing. I was just going easy. I was just like that wasn't the real deal. I think everybody's done this in their lives, but yeah. What was that like? It was like that was a weird sound there. It was like a crisp. You got singed. I mean, don't want to be rude here, but if he was going to lose to him, that's pretty embarrassing to lose to someone that much younger than you. Like people don't understand. There's actually like massive gaps, especially like the younger you are. There's massive gaps. Like with our main character, if he keeps going the way he is at this guy's age, he would have been well ahead of him. For example, like who's to say what would have happened in the future? But like just physically, there's massive differences between these two. So it's either quite embarrassing for this guy, but probably more so impressive from our main character here. But yeah, I can't help but feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I can't help but feel he gave up because he knew he was going to lose to a kid. And if that is the case, as I mentioned before this, that is going to be massively psychologically damaging, though. This moment here, genuinely, it might seem like an overreaction, might be the end of his career. It can happen that quickly. But we won't ever truly know. That's another interesting thing about sport. You'll never truly be able to understand someone's intentions. You can understand to the best degree, like to a 99.9% accuracy, but you'll never truly understand, like, especially in football, the intention behind a shot. Was it meant to go on the left or the right? You'll never know. And like this, you'll never truly understand his intentions unless he himself tells us. I think that is true. Yeah. I remember the fastest time I got. I think it was like lowest, somewhere near 11 seconds. But I don't know how accurate you can really be with other students timing you. He got a bit hungry from seeing that, did he? Understandably so. I've definitely been like that as well. I struggle to watch football. I much prefer playing it. Like every time I watch football, I just want to go out and play football. Like so, yeah. I try not to watch football too much. I watch my team. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. It's really nice. Do you know what? He's not sandbagging him. That's what I like about this dude on the left. Oh, is he catching up? Oh my god, what the hell was that? He blew past him. But yeah, I like this guy that doesn't sandbag people. I've been guilty of that. Because you feel bad for people. I know I've got a lot of empathy myself. But sometimes that can be a negative. Like I said, sometimes you should just go all out and use your full force. And I know I don't always do that. And that's a negative aspect of me that I have. Like, would I like it if someone went easy on me because I wasn't as good? No, I wouldn't like that. So I don't know why I do that sometimes. But that was a really impressive ending from him. Looks like he fucked up his leg. Really impressive. This guy's gonna make it. You can just tell he's got. I call it like the South American gene in football terms. These South American players in football are just like they've got a certain type of grit and hunger to them that a lot of other players don't have. And they're always some of my favourite players. He moved away. Fuck's sake. Guarantee it's not the last we see of him though. So yeah, that's really nice technique. I did expect there to be some time skips. So it's still winning. It's another thing though. The margin of his wins is going to be decreasing and decreasing and decreasing, and maybe that might psychologically affect him as well. Said this earlier with the whole aging thing. As you age, like people age at different levels. Some people improve a lot over a short period. Some people might be later in their years that they get really good at stuff like this. Usually, as with many sports, you want to start out quite young, just to build that kind of form from a young age. But it's not a necessity. As I said, I started football quite much older than everyone else. Oh, he is still smoking people, to be fair. Bloody hell. Just open field, no one in front of you. Yeah, I started younger than everyone else, and like I said, I was just absolutely terrible. Couldn't control it, couldn't touch it. Was always really anxious on the ball. It was awful to start with, but I then became one of the best players in the league. So it doesn't exactly matter. Oh, I love her voice actress. Very good at talking fast. um, yeah, again, I don't want to be big headed, but it does kind of come with this. Like I said, at sports days and such, just in the nature of like winning things, you do get a little bit popular. And that's a negative thing, to be honest. I look back at that and I just think, oh, all these people that I thought, like, yeah, they're not actually your friends and stuff. They're just on the latest like trendy winning thing, if you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, blue. Again, it's impressive. He's still like I said this a bit ago. Like I thought the gap would have closed by now, but he's still destroying people. Another thing that is like big for these type of people is just being a normal teenager. Said earlier, I started smoking at a young age, and like you can't do things normal teenagers do if you're gonna be like a top level sprinter, an elite athlete. Like you don't get to be a teenager, unfortunately. You don't get to party, you don't get to underage drink or do drugs or sleep over with girls and like yeah. Damn, she set that up. See, I ran so much without those. It was quite uncomfortable getting used to them. He's gone. You're not even watching. And no warm up or anything. He could easily just like get an injury, right? This is again, this is one of those things you got to think about. Quite stupid on his behalf. What did happen to him just then? Some kind of epiphany. You don't have to be. That's not true though, actually. I actually think the opposite of that is true. Well, it can be. Like we saw earlier on, that it is a way to get away from things, and it is like breathing room and so on. But it can also, as again, if you're taking it to the extreme, it can become everything. It can eat you up. Actually, you can worry over it, be depressed over it, and yeah, I don't actually agree with what she said there. To be honest, I think what she said is more accurate to people like her and me and you that just like do this for enjoyment rather than. But again, I don't think it comes from a place of like not enjoyment from him, but it has become something else, hasn't it? It's no longer just that childhood, like, yeah. Like it inevitably will become his livelihood. He will depend on this for his future as an adult human. Like, it makes some interesting points here. Like, I was on board with her till here. Just because he's talented means he can do anything he wants. I don't think that's true. And I think that's especially not true. Have we actually have we seen him smile, really? The best and happiest and most upbeat moments he had was when he was with the other boy. Um, like, have we truly seen him happy much throughout this movie so far? I wouldn't say so. Maybe that's just from my perspective of things, but and I think as you get older, I mean, the joy of winning is like indescribable. I imagine for like these Olympians and races and such, but you've got to think there's only one winner out of all of these elite people. Only one person can have that enjoyment and enjoy every moment. The others, everything they work for, is basically for nothing. All these years, the childhood and teenage years they traded in to be elite at this sport for what? For nothing. So maybe I'm going too deep. As I said, I'm just incredibly interested in that, but yeah, probably go a bit too deep there. But I don't really agree with what she says there. I can understand her perspective of that. I think especially the younger you are, the more you do have that perception of, oh, you're a rich and famous, or you will be a rich and famous and super successful sprinter. You could do anything. But in actuality, it's quite a bit different. I do like her though. I do like her. Okay, I finally feel okay after after my sprinting I done earlier. I did say this earlier. Like you don't see too many. I don't see too many Japanese or even Asian in general kind of sprinters. To be honest, I suppose this might sound bad, but they are known for being quite a small race of people, aren't they? Like their average height is quite a bit lower. And I said this earlier, but usually like sprinters are most of the time quite tall, muscular, and don't need to be, of course. But maybe that's good. They just like focus their expertise on other events. They're going to make an exception for him because he's a talented student, aren't they? Yeah, yeah. I knew this would happen. This is what these kids unfortunately do get treated differently. I saw it in my school. Probably happens everywhere. These talented kids get different treatment, don't they? Bring some popularity to the club. Well, he can just go twice, maybe. Are you allowed to do that? I'd probably not. I mean, it'd put you at a disadvantage. That one person. Well, it depends who you. Yeah, probably just in general not allowed because I guess it could be an advantage or disadvantage. Really. I'm damn fast. I guess he rediscovered a bit of the fun in it at that moment. I guess that's what that kind of epiphany thing was when he didn't run for anyone but just like the enjoyment of it. He didn't run to not lose. He didn't run to lose the special treatment, or he just ran because he could just that moment, I guess. For her. Hmm. I honestly think my reaction to this probably already been about an hour. Already half an hour through. I could just talk about a lot of these topics for ages. I'll try not to pause as much going forward, but there's just a lot to talk about. Hey, there's the man. Yeah, recognize that voice. Oh, it looks well different. Wow. Oh yeah. He's good at that. So he's got a bad back. I've seen plenty of these kids. Kids with a lot of potential that end up having some kind of injury or something that ruins their chances. Which sucks. Too right. I said this earlier with the whole like 100 meters being their whole life. You let the distance of 100 meters ruin your whole life. You let that destroy your whole teenage years and childhood. Just that 100 meters. It's focused. Not possible, but I said earlier that I stopped doing sports for like 3 or 4 years and I became a lot slower over the time that I didn't do anything. He's still pretty quick, to be fair to him. Yeah, I became a lot slower, to be honest. And again, that was a blessing in disguise for me. Made me not panic as much and not rush as much and stuff. Yeah, pretty good for him, to be fair, considering he's got an injury and hasn't ran in however long. He also looks like a ghost. Looks like a member of Queen or something. 1290, I say. That was close. I can't believe how much he's changed, bro. A totally different person. So he's third. So he's the anchor. Interesting. I think they usually save the fastest person for the anchor. I said this earlier, but I was always first in my kind of team for the year's races. Which we did win every year, to be fair. It was a bit unfair because we always like I was included in this. We always had like our team had the fastest people in our year. I think all four of us would probably be in like the top 5 or 10 fastest people in a year. So yeah, it's quite unfair, to be honest. Yeah, there's a couple of techniques for this, isn't there? Although when you see it actually live, I mean, obviously the Olympics this doesn't happen, but when you see it at like events like this, usually it just comes down to desperation, desperately trying to fucking put it in their hand. But yeah, I think there's like certain techniques. I think this one's quite popular, the overhand, and then you have your hand like this. So yeah, I learned that for a little bit, but didn't really do too much of that relay stuff. Again, understandable that you have these preconceived notions of these type of people. A lot of people like herald these talented kids and these elite. Like I said this earlier, but a lot of these elite sports people are horrible people. You shouldn't look up to them that much. They're actually not a good inspiration. Like, yes, their motivation, their work ethic towards their sport is motivational and inspiring, but as actual human beings, I don't think you should actually look up to them that much. That probably especially goes for people that aren't athletes, famous people that aren't athletes. But yeah. Few days. Sorry to pause again so quickly, but yeah, my react. Oh, I kind of want to look. Um, I bet for him, it almost feels like you got to think the position he was in. It was always first. It was always winning. There was always a pressure on him to come first. Like your whole life. Imagine your whole life being like pressurized like this. This is your whole life, and then you get this injury. You get this kind of thing he's been struggling with, and then imagine going from all that pressure to a life where it's just like you can kind of like you haven't got that pressure to win. No one has any expectations of you or anything. It's probably releasing and really nice in a way, but also it's like it's just totally different from what he's always known. And I imagine you'd quite struggle with that. Like as weird as it sounds, I imagine you'd quite struggle with having no pressure on you, living in such an environment for so many years and growing up like that. It's, again, it's just another one of those facets that I find really interesting. Yeah, almost at an hour. So again, I'll try not to pause too much, but hoping some of you guys at least find this interesting. As I said, I love thinking about it and talking about it. That's a massive theme of this movie, of course. These developments. 44. Yeah, again, it might sound like a positive thing of like, oh, he finally gets to release some pressure. He gets to actually be like a high school teenager and such. But for him, is it all that good? He became dependent on it. And that applies to many things in life. Funny enough, that was a bit of a topic of Takopi's original sin that was airing not too long ago. Well, they're back. Mm. Although Michi. Fucking Sugita, of course. And an asshole. And he's good at it. He's good at sounding like an asshole. I mean, that's a bit extreme. I did say that earlier. There is a difference, but not that much between months, I wouldn't say. Cool, who's this now? Oh, so rugged. Kind of left looked crazy. Bit of a different setup. We've got four, yeah, pretty chill one of these four, and then we've got a whole school of teenage boys right there. Hungry. Smile on his face the whole time as well. Scared. That's a good rival to have there. Might not be a great person, seemingly, but he's a good rival to have, that kind of guy, I think. You can guarantee you'll always put your all in trying to beat the bastard. Okay, let's go. But we haven't seen these girls run, so see what they got. Let's hope we don't mess up the handovers. That's probably the biggest issue in this race. Doing pretty well. Nice, nice, clean. Why is he standing? Yeah, you gotta get running, bro. Nice, nice handover again. See, I feel like the handovers probably get harder the faster you are. Oh, bloody hell. These guys even sprinting. Oh, he's had a good start, he has. But we're on the inside track. Oh, we're not on the inside track. I think we came second. Well, still good showing. Still good showing. That was an awesome segment, wasn't it? It's good to know that it's not just like the character stuff's interesting. They're actually done a really good job at the races as well. The atmosphere especially. As well. And who are you guys to be talking all this? Guys look like you're lounging around on your fucking. Doesn't quite look like the athletic type, do they? Unknown first year student. Ah, so he's back. He looks the same. He looks exactly the same. The other guy completely changed. This guy looks exactly the same. So he broke a record, I think they said. Hyakuemu Mountain. Yeah, what the hell? That sounds secluded. Although I said this, I was doing it. You've probably been doing the uphill sprinting, which does make you faster. That is really good for you. And it's a fucking pain in the ass. Absolute pain in the ass. Feels like you're running through sludge. Finally catching back up with him then, though, so that's nice. So I think the look of the dude from that race star main character earlier, the way he changed so much was very much a representation of just how much that race with the kid earlier affected him, wasn't it? Whereas both of our main characters here have looked pretty consistent the whole time, visually. $100 is 100 meters. What was up with his leg earlier? He said something about his balance. Maybe one of his legs is a bit more muscular than the other one. I know that might sound quite silly to some people, but there might genuinely be like the smallest weight difference on one side of his leg. Like I said earlier, sometimes the smallest little details like that can be major. This guy kind of looks like me, doesn't he? I don't know why I've only just noticed that. This guy kind of looks like me. I'm not quite as rugged. In fact, I've got a very, very fat neck. Yeah, actually, I probably look more like that guy. Got a beetle right here. One of the beetles. Short and to the point and accurate, you know. I like that. I like that from you. Good advice. He looks pretty emotionless, doesn't he? Looks like a blank slate. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm human. I will live and I will die. I'm not someone to be looked up to. I'm not a god. I'm not someone I'm just yeah. I like that. I like this guy. I like this guy. He doesn't understand whatsoever. I do. I like this guy. Again, maybe he's not too human, but I've always kind of thought maybe I'm not like an alien myself. There is no mental health. Ah, okay. So he got injured. So I imagine what happened here. I don't want to diagnose him or anything, because I'm no doctor, but I imagine he probably got an injury at a young age, and either the injury may not have healed correctly. Maybe he started running a bit too quickly on it. I've done that myself, of coming back from an injury way too early, and then that ultimately making you more injured and having you out for longer. Or he had that injury and it healed, but maybe like I said earlier about the muscle kind of mass difference and such. Maybe at a certain area, sometimes this can happen, where a certain part of your body heals, and to compensate for that injury, another part of your leg, for example, I don't know if this is accurate, but say you injured your knee, to make up for that, maybe your Achilles or some of the muscles lower down in your leg would get stronger to make up for that lack of power in the upper area. Again, might not be using 100% accurate kind of terminology and stuff here, but sometimes other areas of your body will compensate for that injured area, or an area where it might not have healed correctly, or if it did heal, might be slightly weaker than the other side. And clearly, it's affecting him here. So again, that kind of balances off one. Like again, we'll say it's the ankle. His ankle compensated on the right hand side, so now he's got much more muscle in the right hand side of his ankle that is compensating for the upper part of his leg, and that, you can imagine, that would put your balance off quite a bit, having to use like two different, yeah, worded that horribly, but hopefully you got the point I'm making there. It's just another interesting, that one being a bit more of a physical kind of interesting part of sports, but quite amazing how the body can like do that. Like I said, I've actually experienced that one myself last year. Two people, my knee was kind of bent over forwards, and two people landed on my knee while I was bending it and pushed it sideways, and I was injured for a bit. Um, this guy got such good advice. I guess he's been and done it all. Wow. This guy, I like his advice. Like I said, might not be for everyone. That advice certainly wouldn't be for everyone, but wow. I think he's taken a liking to him as well. These two are got to get along quite well. But yeah, as I said, I had that injury, and I was working out specific. I was doing specific injuries for rehab for my knee area, and I might have done too much, because it felt like a bit like, not that leg, but my other leg strangely kind of felt off when I did come back from injury. Probably because I was doing hyper specific workouts for one leg and not the other one. There was a bit of an imbalance. Lights. I like this guy. Again, you can tell he's experienced. But you can. It's also quite sad the way this guy is. To be honest, isn't it? Why do you not look very happy about that? Piss off. No way. Why would we listen to you about that? Why is it affecting you so much? Wow. Isn't this just so interesting? Because I'm the opposite. I'm the complete opposite in every way. I love the fact this guy is just running on pure passion, pure motivation. He wasn't talented. He didn't have skill. He wasn't a born genius. He wasn't innately talented at this. I said this earlier. Like I know for a fact the way my what's it called um like the muscle fibers I have, the genetics, that's the one. My genetics are built for short distance and sprinting and short bursts of power, rather than long distance and stuff like that. And that, I wouldn't say that's like a talent, but that's just like, that is innate. I guess you could say it is within that realm. Like I didn't have to learn to do that, whereas this guy's had to work for everything. Like he's had to train his whole body, and like I couldn't be further away from this guy's opinion. Don't know about you guys. Like he's coming off as a bit of his arsehole right here, so I think in general people will find this wrong. But just like innately on his point here, I can understand where he's coming from, because I kind of feel this way sometimes when you watch someone play a game that you absolutely love and they're like playing it wrong, and you're like, why aren't you using this thing? Why aren't you using this mechanic? And so on. Like I've definitely felt the same similar thing from him, like as this guy before, but I think it's, for me, it's in spite of his form, in spite of the fact he's untalented, he's still this good and he's still trying this hard. I said this earlier. These are the people you love to have around you, because these guys are just like, it's, yeah, it's incredibly impressive for me, and it's it's like a foreign language. Or this guy's like pissed off about it. Again, don't get me wrong. I get where he's coming from, but yeah, in this situation, I couldn't agree less. I bet that he can still improve on that. He's still relatively young. Kimochi. How's that a red flag? So what? I think he's actually like kind of being nice in a weird way as well. This guy actually, like he's looking out for him a bit there in terms of saying like this will destroy you, and he's kind of right in saying that. But yeah, again, in spite of that, we're still gonna do it, bro. Okay, again, I'm loving this. This is like, I knew this would be up my alley. I think this is also quite enjoyable if you don't like look too far into it. Like if you just take this on a very surface level, I think this is still very enjoyable. This guy he always looks like he's up to something. He looks a bit like a sneaky schemer. Oh, I love the lack of music right now. Just the sound effects, all the bits of metal. Damn. Again, that was awesome. I know we didn't actually see anything, but just the use of sound right here is amazing. No background music, just the metal, the footsteps, the cheer of the crowd. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh no, back's starting to hurt a bit. So funny enough, that was something I was actually specifically trying to keep an eye on today when I done my uphill sprints, was to try and, it's really hard, but just to try and keep absolutely straight, back straight, and like not move, like not just like trying to be as still as possible, and it's really hard. Oh shit. I mean, he should recognize him, but I can understand why he wouldn't recognize the dude with the long hair. He looks well different. Again, it's like, I know it sounds weird, but I love the lack of music. Oh damn. Oh no. They came last. I think the start of this movie, he was watching him in the stands. Now he's beat him. Another record broken. I mean, they do add on time for the win, do they not? If the wind plays a part, they do add on a certain amount of time, I think. Do you recognise him? Oh shit! Here we go. Wow. I don't even know if I'm qualified to speak about this. I could probably say that to a lot of the stuff I've said this reaction. But I don't know about you guys. Does it feel like the positions have switched here a little bit? Like from the start of this movie? I don't know. Maybe I'm talking nonsense. Kind of feels like the positions have switched a bit. terms of like desperate. I mean, I guess this guy was always using sprinting to get away from stuff and so on, and it was a big thing for him. But I feel like this guy on the left is, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking nonsense. Sprinting in the rain. I did say this earlier. I love the fact that they choose not to play these soundtracks behind these races. I mean, it sounds like they are going to from here on, but I loved how like raw it felt. Cool. This looks awesome, doesn't it? Holy shit! This looks cool as hell. Have you guys seen anything like this recently? I can't say I have. Like these unbroken shots like this. Like, fair play to whoever made this. I'm not sure what studio had done this, to be honest. But fucking looks awesome, doesn't it? That little was that a practice get off? Oh shit. Oh shit. The atmosphere they're building right now is insane. Man, this reminds me of a movie I loved called Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of something or other. That whole movie was one shot. It wasn't actually one shot, but it was shown as if it was one shot. Um, and this feels very similar, and I love that movie, and I love this. I made it, mum. See, I've been seeing a few anime, quite a few One Piece and anime kind of things that these sprinters do recently. Yeah, just this one long, like, have you? How long has it been since you guys saw anything like this? Let's go. I'm surprised we haven't seen any like false starts or anything yet. That's a killer. Like that must feel terrible. Having a false start. That would be very funny if all this setup right here was just to set up a false start. For me, I would always be very safe and not try to anticipate but react. Which sounds obvious, but it is actually like you probably do get a bit more. It is a bit more beneficial to anticipate than to react. But be pretty convincingly as well. What another thing I like is they mention this in Hunter x Hunter of all things, of like your best days. Sometimes on your best days, you'll beat someone that's better than you if they're on their like their worst day, for example. So like one race isn't all indicative who's better or not. But that was quite convincing. Heavy rain. Fucking hell, look at it. You got beat by your own student. Your running style changed. It did. I mean, I said this earlier. I feel like their position has changed quite a bit. I don't know. And then 10 years after this, so I was going into this movie thinking there would be quite a few, like at least a couple time skips. So not awfully surprising. So he works at an office now, or is this like a meeting for his sprinting? Oh, so he's still racing. Okay, but he seems pretty relieved to still be racing. I'm not really. That's one thing I'm not very clued up on about, like the sponsorships and how these sprinters and such actually make a living. Is it like purely through prize money, advertising, sponsorships? Like I'm not 100% sure. I'd be very interested in learning a bit more about. That's nice. Thanks. Did you need to say that? But yeah, I imagine it's a very fickle thing in terms of they'd very quickly get rid of you if you got like like a big injury. They'd be like, oh well, all your sponsorships are dropped. We're dropping you from the agency and so on, and you've just now got to find another job after devoting your whole life to sprinting. The harsh world. So it's another interesting conversation of. I mentioned this earlier as well about the what comes after this. What comes after racing? What if you have to stop? Should you even think about it? Because if you think about that, at that point, are you not destined to fail because you have set up a future for failing, or is it like the smart thing to do? In my opinion, it's like a smart thing to do to set up your future just in case this doesn't work out. But like I said, maybe that could psychologically affect you and be like, well, I'm now devoted myself to losing in a way. Like, do I truly believe myself if I'm sorting out a future away from this? Yeah. National champs. Was that same interviewer? Well, when do sprinters peak? My guess would probably be about 25 to 28. I'm really not sure. Yeah, that dude with the good advice. Sounds pretty familiar. Have a second. Sounds relatable. Well, they say that they throw that around quite often in the chess world. I think they've been saying that quite often about quite a few people. That are born in another era, they'd be the top player. So on. Yeah. Well, listen to that again. I guess I might as well sort out the timer. That was very different advice, but just as interesting than this Zetsu guy. Huh. A little bit delusional, but in a good way. Escape from reality. Winning a race isn't possible for me here, and I'll just do all I can to escape this reality. That's the love hope. So I kind of said this earlier. You got to be a bit crazy. You got to be a bit, yeah. He is essentially deluding himself, but in a good way. And like it makes sense and it's effective. I like that advice as well. Very different advice, like almost opposite advice, but like still I really like it. Again, I think you could take that advice in a very wrong way and it would be bad for you. But I kind of like where he's coming from with that, honestly. Good question. Very good question. Gonna hear the answer? Fuck. So I want to know right now. Why are you continuing? Is that all you've got? Oh well. I think that's. Is that not enough? Do you have to win races if you're inspiring other people like this? Oh god, it's Hammy. Oh, It's never happened to me, thankfully, and I hope it doesn't. But you see that happen quite a lot in football. Someone just pull up, they got their hamstring just. Well, I spoke to my friend about it. It happened to him. He just felt it pop. He literally just heard it pop, and it's just like, oh, what must that feel like? So you got to face your reality, but you've got to create a different one. They almost seem contradictory pieces of advice when you look at it quite simply. But I understand what you're saying there. To create a new reality, you've got to first face the one you're faced with right now. Of course, it choose Novak's voice actor for that guy, by the way. Of course, he even looks quite similar, doesn't he? How this interaction's changed. This guy comes off so condescending. I said this earlier about the other guys sitting in the chairs, but I feel like these type of people really need to actually be faced with what they're like dealing with. Like, should you guys be running and managing these people if you have got no idea what, like, if you guys haven't like tried sprinting and stuff yourself? Like, you're talking all this nonsense, but I guarantee if you were to try and do what these guys are doing, it'd fall over instantly. Condescending arsehole. Oh, another hammy's gone. Is that his hammy? Oh god. Oh, you're not recovering for that. Oh, it's a muscle strain, okay. Damn. See, I knew there'd be an injury somewhere down the line. Inevitable. Just with the nature of sprinting. But what a time. You'll see this actually quite often with athletes. Sometimes they will just put their career on the line for a big event. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes they're fine afterwards. Like, it's not unheard of. But this, yeah. Kind of felt this was coming at some point as well. It's just for who and when. I do think a really good line to go down for people that do have to retire early and so on is to become teachers and coaches. Do that quite often. So it's quite funny. You can almost imagine like a movie or an anime where these kids are like the main characters and this random guy comes up. He's that guy. He's the random guy that gives like the good advice to our main characters. And you always really appreciate that guy. And he is that guy right now. Like I said, like that, to me, that's almost more fulfilling than winning any race and stuff. So, Jesus. I mean, I get where he's come from, yeah, but these poor kids. Bless him. Look at their faces, man. Fucking hell. Now he's the crazy old man. But he's not crazy, is he? Because we know how much he's dedicated. We know this has been his whole life. It's fucking brutal. The world is brutal. Sat there. Hours. You know what? Might sound wrong. I feel like he should just race on it anyway. I said this earlier. I've done it. I've come back too quickly from injuries. Sometimes stupidly, just because I want to get playing again, but other times because I wouldn't say it's never necessary in what I do. It's always for fun, but I felt like I'd be letting people down and such. Like I played with my leg all strapped up, I could hardly feel it, and I played like crap, but there was no one else to play, so that's better than no one being there. Here we are again. That's no longer just a prelim. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's no longer just a random ass prelim. The game's changed. It's got a bit of support on there. What race is this guy in like the old man race? Like, what's going on with him? He's like in the over 50s category or something. very analytical. And in general, in sports, there is a lot of very helpful things in analytics, but sometimes it does just come down to who wants it more. Sometimes it comes down to things that can't be recorded. It kind of is. I already know that. I already know that, bro. You have to tell me. This guy's got some fucking. I like this guy. Like, again, he doesn't seem like very charismatic or anything, but I like him. I think I'll get along with him quite well. He's always got some really good advice. Morikawa. So apologies, guys, but it is incredibly hard to tell these two people apart. No. Bloody hell. Yeah, this is one hell of a race. Unusual time. You guys are writing off. You guys are writing off willpower right here. This is not a smart thing to do. What is going on with this guy? How old is he? You've taken the mick. You know what? I know there's a Japanese footballer who's like 55 or 56 that's still playing. Maybe it's just one of those Asian things. They always look younger than they are, and seemingly they can just like last longer. Like, this guy's actually like racing these guys. These guys are like less than half his age. How old is this guy? He's competing at like top level events and sprinting with grey ass hair like this. I shouldn't say that because I went to high school with a kid that had grey hair. So you can have grey hair at any age, but I was kind of confused when he spoke earlier when we had that kind of segment where he was doing the speeches. He said he was like racing, and I was like, I kind of just let it go. So I was like, surely not in like the same level as these guys. Like, again, maybe like some over 50s racing or something. But what the hell? That is impressive. That is very impressive. Especially as I've been mentioning this whole time, like fast twitch fibers, power. As you get older, those things leave quite quickly, and you're probably better at endurance as you get older than you are at hour events. So that makes this even more impressive. He keeps up with these guys. Like Zeke over here. Yeah, you should be last. You're like 50, bro. I guess you just can't give it up. He's gonna rewrite it. Yeah, he's gonna win, isn't he? You're taking the fucking piss. He actually won. Taitsu in 5th. He actually won. That can't be. like scientifically speaking, I know I said earlier, like sometimes sciences and records and such, like they're useful, but they're not everything. Guess they really aren't. What the hell was that? I don't know about you guys, but I'd be very pissed off I lost that guy. And eventually they'll be broken anyway. What time to be asking these questions though? I like that. I like that answer. To show the full extent of where my motivation has taken me. To show it all. These 10 seconds are the result of all these years. Kind of sounds like that whole speech there kind of sounds like a mix up of almost all of the speeches we've heard from people at this point, which is very accurate because that's essentially our whole lives, really, isn't it? A bunch of collections of pieces of advice and knowledge, all wrapped into who we are. Yep. Is he going to retire? You guys just got the scoop of the century. Wow, it's good. They got a good scoop. Now they're. Bang! This guy's so fucking good. I love this guy. We need a whole movie on this guy, honestly. and a reaction to that. This guy's actually a philosopher. Like, I've struggled to believe this guy does not become a philosopher or some kind of best-selling author after he's retired, right? My God, that guy's got charisma. He's knowledge, experience. You need to shave that thing. You need to shave that thing. Like, even something as stupid. This happened in the Olympics recently, didn't it? Something as stupid as your alarm not going off can put an end to 20, 30 years of hard work. Amazing. I'll say this movie does not feel almost 2 hours long, does it? They are the best types of ones, though, aren't they? The ones that feel too short. Said a minute ago, I could have had a whole movie on Zaitsu. That guy's fucking awesome. I'm glad his leg's been okay this whole time. Silver Fox right here. Still don't understand. Like, again, I could understand if it was like a marathon or a long distance. Like, you see plenty of old people really good at that stuff. Sprinting? Yeah. Here we go. The final race. 10 seconds is everything. That's so even. Everybody. The breathing, bro. Hey, finally, you see a smile on his fucking face. Finally. And we're not even going to find out. And you know what? I like the fact we're not going to find out. That's kind of the point. Like, it's not. I can imagine some people not liking how this ends. Like, why didn't we find out who won? I can already see a bunch of reviews like, oh, it's I forget the name of these guys, but they do a lot of the Tokyo Revengers songs, and I really like them. But yeah, I can already see the reviews of like, oh, I loved it, but I wish we found out who won. I'm kind of happy we don't. It'd almost be disappointing to find out who won there. Just the fact, I said this earlier, I'm much more of the type of guy that like enjoys the motivational style of things. Like, I wouldn't care if I win or lose. If I knew I motivated somebody else, I would be like, job done, good job, mate. And it's not exactly the same, but that's almost akin to that in the fact that they just enjoyed that moment, just like they did with their kids right there. But yeah, that was incredible, wasn't it? Wow, love that. Again, I was bound to. Always been quite a sporty guy. Well, again, not always, but got very into it as I entered high school. I knew there'd be a lot to relate to here, a lot of stuff that had interested me. And the writing was just as I expected, really awesome. So I didn't realize how big this band was as well. Their videos on YouTube get a lot of views. Can't imagine they're cheap nowadays. I will say I still think that my favourite song from them is that first opening of Tokyo Revengers, I think. Actually, was it the season 3 ending I really like as well? Or it might have been the opening. I can't quite remember. Been a little while. But yeah, again, I love that. The motivational segments of this movie, I think, were like, I think they were some of my favourite parts. Just hearing the characters just speak about what motivates them and their thought processes and the advice that they give to other people. I will say one of the slight issues I did have was, honestly, during some of the races, some of the characters looked like very similar / the same. I'm not sure if that was like intentional or what, but it was a little hard to keep track of at some points. But that's like the tiniest little thing. I mean, the major most of the major characters are very distinct in the races, but there was points where I was like, we're watching the same guy race. Like, there's 2 of them. And that was like slightly confusing for me, but that probably gets better on a rewatch. But that is literally like the only thing I could say. Like the Dism, that's the one. Yeah, the animation was nuts. Like during all of the, like, even like, this is gonna sound weird, but even the things that we didn't see was excellent. There was a couple times in the races, wasn't there, where they didn't actually show us the race. They just, one of them they just show us the sky. Another one I think they just like panned around. And I thought that was really well done. Like, they didn't have to show us. Just like with the ending here a little bit. The result is not actually really what mattered. Do you know what? I was going to mention this as well because I saw the Under Armour. This must have been sponsored by so many brands. It's kind of crazy. Look at that. Nike, Adidas, Mizuno, which I know is a big brand in Japan. A lot of Japanese footballers wear Mizuno boots. Never had a pair myself, but they're known for being really high quality. Under Armour, Puma, Oakley. I don't know any of these other ones here, to be honest with you. But yeah, I was thinking, like, they're actually using real logos. Usually they use something like similar. Not that that's massively important. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, like, even the races where we didn't see anything were incredible just on a sound basis. But the ones we did see, I think the big standout for me, honestly, was the one where it was that one shot. Like, I haven't seen anything like that in ages. It was just one continuous shot of the practice going around the stadium, looking at the rain, the setting. Just like, you felt fully immersed right there, like you were right there. Like, every element of it you felt. And that was honestly one of my favourite portions of the movie. Like I said, my favourite one was, again, hearing like these guys like Zaitsu and these like older racers, and hearing their kind of motivational talks, as well as the relationship between the main characters. Of course that's going to be one of the best things. But yeah, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Lovely song there as well. That's going straight on the playlist. Fucking well done me, by the way. Cut straight to it. this scene here was one of the absolute standouts. Like, this was incredible, just non-stop, like no cuts. I feel like not that noticeable, but there is like a lot of cuts within your general anime and movies and such from scene to scene, but to have something that breathed like this did for as long as it did, really impressive. I love this, like the weight of it as well. It wasn't just like a random meaningless race either. Like, this was a massive moment as well. But yeah, seeing these whole guys' lives, incredible stuff. I still haven't got the names down, so apologies. But yeah, this was amazing. From their childhood to teenagers to adults, trying to navigate through life. Seeing all of these other races, these side characters give their 2 cents on things. It just pretty much said it all. But yeah, just incredible movie. This is probably going to be very high up there when I do my tier list, which I think I'm going to be doing tomorrow. But yeah, just it might sound bad, but it's exactly what I expected, and I did expect it to be one of the best things I've watched this year. This could have very easily disappointed because of that, but it absolutely didn't. I think especially the most surprising thing was something I don't massively care about, but the animation. I wasn't expecting it to look this good, and especially that scene I was talking about earlier, like that especially was just like one of the best things I've watched in a long while, to be honest with you, as well as the Reze movie that came out recently. But even then, like, this was so unique. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comments. Let me know any of your guys' kind of thoughts and motivational speeches and such. I'd love to listen to. I said plenty of mine during this. Hopefully you might have gained something throughout. I'm not like an expert on any of stuff like this, but I'm just like, this is like right up my alley. So yeah, I was kind of bound to love it. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in general in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with any of my reactions. I'll certainly be back with any of this author's other works that get adapted, because he's absolutely 2 for 2, smashing out of the park so far. Loved everything I've seen from him, or her. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I will absolutely be there when the next piece of works gets adapted, and hopefully that won't be too long away. If it is, who cares? I'll be there. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and have a good rest of your day, guys.